Are we ready?
Yes, we're recording.
Okay. So my name is James Willems, W. I'm here. Uh, and hello, fellow programmers. And in this chapter, in chapter 4, which is our current chapter, you learned how to work efficiently with a list. You learned how to work through a list using for loop, how Python uses indentation to structure a program, how to avoid some common indentation errors. You learn to make simple numerical list as well as a operator operations you can perform in a numerical list. You learned how to slice a list to work with a subset of and how to copy a list properly using a slice. You also learned how about tuples, which provide a degree of protection to a set of values that couldn't change, and how to style your increasingly complex code to make it easy to read. In chapter 5, you'll learn to respond approximately to different conditions by using if statements. You learned to string together relatively complex sets of conditions to respond approximately to a kind of situation or information or you'll also learn to use if statements while looping through a list to take specific actions was here we have here we have the blue parts, which is a variable, and the variable name dimensions. Then we have the red piece of text and the previous which I mentioned piece of text in the Python code. And we have red pieces of text, which is the strings. And we can clearly see this has a colon and that this dimension has a colon and that the string is within curved brackets. And then we have the numerical value, which is green or gray. I can't see clearly. And we have two of them, which is 200, and then we have the other one, which is 50. And then we have which I think this is, then we have then we have a for loop. Then we have a for, then we have a purple piece of text, which is most likely a loop or a for loop. Then we have, and then we have this part here which base controls the variable, so it's within the diameter this variable. So we have another. Then we have the humanish humanish color, and that is which is color text, which is functions, and its name is print. So clearly we can see that the print is currently printing out this. And it's properly, we can see the code. And then we have dimensions, and we have this time the dot the values are different. They are 400 and 100. Then we have print again, which is a function. And here we can clearly see there's a slash n, and it's within the string. And then we have this then we have this for loop, and it does the same as the previous one. the values have changed really. And then we have and then the values, then it's being printed. Now let's see now what happened. Clearly, I explained what happens, and now I explain what this does. Now the print, now the print, which is a function, it basically prints the first this is print one. This is print one, which basically makes this is print one, which has the original piece of string. This is print two. This is part two of the piece of text, which is print two. This is basically the print that prints out the variables like values, and then we have the print. Then we have then we have the print, which is a function in part two of that, and which is two, print two, which basically prints the modified piece of string, and which we have original piece of string, and then we have the print, which basically prints out the variables like modified values.
Okay.
And I'm done with this explanation.
Okay. So here we have even dot py. We have a variable named even numbers equals to here we have a list that has a range we can see, and it has a which takes an argument or parameters of 2 2 11 2, and then print even numbers. So when I run this Python and even numbers, so what this range does, okay, lists, firstly, this creates a list. It creates a list in this range. What is the range? Range is from 2 to 10, because what this range would do, it will not include the last number. It will always remember, in a list, if you want to locate the last value, to be always -1. So that's what also this range does. And then with the third with this third parameter here, it guides it to like to div into twos. So this is what makes it even numbers, and it goes on and prints even numbers. Yeah, and here's our list: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, that was even numbers. You want me to also do first numbers?
I think I'll do let me quickly check if I have first numbers. Yes, I have first numbers.
Okay.
So here we have the blue pieces of text, which is a variable, and the variable name is
Your
numbers.
first number is
Then
basically the code I just went through. Okay, without the third parenthesis. Okay, you can carry on.
then we have the human colored piece of text, which is a function name. Then we have a class list, and that has a class list in brackets. in curved brackets, in curved orange, yellowish, or yellow brackets. Then we have the value in pink curve or purple curved brackets, which is 1 and 6. And then we have a comma. Now what this print now prints the variable's values, which is this. And if we put in, and we can clearly see it's dot py, and there's an underscore here because Python won't script coding won't allow any space between. Then we have the lost results. .py. As we can clearly see, it prints the rest of the value. It can clearly see, it prints out 1, it prints out the number 1, and just ends at 5. And I'm done.
Okay. So the next one is foods. Um, okay, so we have a variable called my food. We see it's contained in a list or an array, pizza, yeah, carrot cake, and then we have another variable, my friend's food, which is equal to my food, and we in here we have a colon. So basically what this our line 2 is copying this list, and if we print out, if we do print out my friend's food, it will be the same list as this, but what with this colon, it's well, it's just basically a copy. We are not saying this is equal to this. We're saying we can add more things into my friend's food that will not affect my food. So we go on in line 4. My friend fruit foods dot append. So append adds. So we're gonna append this to to my food, and in my friend food we'll append ice cream. Then here's our first print statement. We'll print my favorite foods are. Then we would also go on and print my food, and we'll print my friend's favorite foods are, and then we also print my friend's food. So what are we gonna what when we print these out, what are we gonna get? We're going to get this. We're gonna get my food appended this, and then my friend's food append ice cream. They'll look the same, but they'll have different values at the end. So let's quickly run that. And so when we run that, we can see that my favorite foods are. It's the first list, including that kernel, and then my friend's favorite. It's the same list, but at the end now we have ice cream. So that's basically foods py.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
James?
Yeah.
Okay, it's fine. I was done with my code. I saw the network had gone, but my explanation was done. Can you move on to the next file?
No problem.
Okay.
Okay. And then I have, okay, now we have the following color, colors for the two. Blue is variable, red is string, purple is for loop. Then we have dark blue, which is F string. And this is a variable, is a function, and that's, we can see two F strings, magician as the variable, magicians is the variable. Then we have the following pieces of string in a list, or a or it could be a or it could be a name generator. And we have a curly string here and there, curly string here and there, curved string there, cubic string there, comma, two commas, then we have here a title, and we have a method here named title. And then we have a string that has a sentence in double quotation. It's a double quotation string here also, and here's single quotation strings here. And then we have a curved bracket that's yellow, a blue two blue curved brackets here and there. And then we have a for loop. Then we have a restriction. Then we have a control. Then this part here is the controlling part, which makes sure that magicians stay within the the variable magicians stay within the variable magician stays within the variable magicians. And then we have the method title and the method title. And it basically prints. And then we have a print, then we have print, then we have the function print, which will basically print out the following F string, and one of these names will be selected, or maybe all. And then we have the second print function, which is another F string, which basically sends a message to the magician that's name is that sends a message to magician which name will occur there in a piece of code. And then we have the print function, which basically would print this piece of string, which is a piece of string, which is a sentence. And we can see it clearly. Let me quickly get my terminal. PY, and we have a syntax error, but
At the end, remember line 6, you print you line 6, yeah.
oh, yeah, can we quickly do that again?
So just up arrow. You don't have to type. Yeah.
And we are here, we can see
Oh, sorry, no.
it.
It's printing out a first.
Down, up arrow, there we
Yeah.
go. Okay, then as I was speculating, it resulted in the following people. It resulted in three people's each presenting a magic trick, saying naming each person's name was used, and the sentence concurred after the print. The person's name, the magician's name, was printed along with the sentence and the second print, which gave the sentence, and it happened to all three magicians, with all three magicians. And I'm done.
Okay. Um, so we have players. Um, players.py. We have variable players equal to this list, and it has list of names. Um, then we'll say print players. So what this does is when we say players, then index by, if we use this colon, like two colon nothing, maybe let's say this will be 2 till the end. So what basically, when we use this index, we are trying to select which names we want to use from a list, or which items we would want to use from a list. So from this case, if we start from 2, we say 0, 1, 2, it will print from Michael till the end. And we also have another print statement that goes and say here are the first 3 players in the team. And then we have a for loop for P in players. We said from 0 to 3, because remember, when we use the index here, if there's nothing here, it's from 0 till till the 3. So basically this gives us like a perimeter, a space to work in. And then remember, we use, for in a for loop, we use we use this line integers. If this was back here, it would have been error. So for for loops, we use integer, and then we have a print p dot title. So this will capitalize the first words in our names. So if I go ahead and run this code, there, here are our first players in my team: Charles, Martin, Michael, which is basically the first 3. And yeah, and also here, the first print statement, which it will start printing from 2. So it will start printing from 1, 2. Actually, 0, 1, 2. It will start printing from Michael till the end. And that's basically what our code was, our code PY. I mean players PY. Well, due to some network issues, we've covered most of we had covered most of the parts in the chapter. So square numbers py. Here we have a variable that contains an empty list. So an empty list. So we will have for value in range of from 1 to 10. From 1 to 10, what is our for our for our for loops doing? We goes and say square append the value by squared by 2. So we would have square numbers from 1 to 10. That's what that would print here. So if we go Python square numbers. Py. Yeah, spelling error. Square. So yeah, so that's what equals and gets. Um, James,
Yes.
do you want to help us with the last code squares?
Did you do squared underscore number as well?
I've done that, so you just squares numbers, just square.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. The light blue is variables and the variable name squares. The human color is function and its name is print. Then we have the multiplication, two of the number, the value, a value, a multiplication value, and then we have a for loop, and then we have another part of the for loop. Then we have the controlling part of which makes sure that the value within the class range, which is 11 to 1 and 11. And then we have a curve bracket and another curve bracket, a cubed bracket, two of them, and then we have a curved bracket, two and another curved bracket. Then we have a variable. Then we have the function which name is print, which will print the variable squares, says value multiply values value that, and then we have the variable and that value, and then we have the variable value which would be which makes sure that squares is being multiplied by this, and that this part here will change. And it changed. Then we can see each interval is a then we can see this
Okay. Okay, and so that was basically our summary of chapter 4. Thanks for watching.
have a good have a good day, Ernest, and everyone that's staying tuned now. Okay, bye.